Hello everyone, welcome to KT Skills. This is Bhavani Mohanty who will be covering your DevOps course in KT Skills. So this session is scheduled to share the information about the courses, content, which all tools we will be covering in our DevOps course. As we all know, currently DevOps is booming market and DevOps was invented by Patrick DeVos and the idea started to spread in 2009 with the advent of first DevOps Day event held in Belgium. So these are the agendas which we will be covering today. We will just cover what are the basic ideas about the agendas which you see on this slide. So we'll see what is DevOps, why DevOps came into picture, the topics which will be covered in our DevOps course in KT Skills. What are the prerequisites required to pursue DevOps courses? Level of confidence after the completion of this course. What is the current market requirement? Interesting factor from pursuing training from KT Skills. And let's move to the first slide. What is DevOps? As you all know, DevOps is considered as a practice of bringing development and operation team together. And you will be thinking why this DevOps came into picture. Earlier we were using traditional approach of software development. So we have lot of challenges in traditional software development methodologies. So to overcome those challenges, Patrick DeVos introduced the Agile methodology, software development methodology. So what traditional software development, methodology is? So it is based on pre-organized stages of the software development lifecycle. Here the flow of development is unidirectional from requirements to design and then to development, then to testing and maintenance. In classical approaches like the waterfall model, which you would have learnt in your engineering durations. So, like the waterfall model, each phase has specific deliverables and detailed documentation that have undergone a thorough review process. So, traditional approaches are suited when requirements are well understood. For example, in industry like constructions, where everyone clearly understands the final product. On the other hand, a rapidly changing industry like IT, traditional development procedures might fail to achieve project goals. So in traditional approach, we need to know the final result, then only we can proceed with the development. So the requirement gathering phase, we will be gathering the information from the customer, then it goes to the information goes to development. So until and unless the requirement is properly been gathered, we have the final result. What we are the I mean, what are the expectation of the outcome? Then only we can move to the next phase. In to it actually takes a lot of time to on each of the phases. To overcome this problem, we the agile software development methodology came into picture. So unlike the traditional approach of SDLC, agile approaches are precise and customer friendly. Customers have the opportunity to make modification throughout the project development phases. For example, when I say throughout the project development phases, uh, the customer gave an idea initially for a development where they design some modules, they divide the requirement into each modules. Initially they finalize that, yeah, these are the requirements and we'll go through this design first, and later point of time, in the parallelly, they will work on the other requirements. So the same way, the first whatever they have decided, they have finalized the requirements, the development team can start working on it. So what happens is, it is a continuous process of designing and deployment. So in that case, agile helped to reduce the development duration. The advantages of agile over traditional development methodologies includes, through the problem statement, business needs and solution are defined in advance. They can be modified at any time. Requirements, user stories can be provided periodically, implying better chances for mutual understanding amongst developers and users. The solution can be determined by segregating the project into different models, which I just told in my previous explanations, and can be delivered periodically. The user gets an opportunity to evaluate solution models to determine whether the business need is being met, thus ensuring quality outcomes. It is possible to create reusable components. There is less priority on documentation, which results in less than consumption and expenditures. So so what happens is, to implement this agile methodology, DevOps came into picture. So DevOps is nothing but it is not like it is a tool or some product or software. DevOps is nothing but it is a collaboration of development and the operation teams. They closely work for for the outcome or for a particular goal. So DevOps is considered as a practice of bringing development and operations team together. DevOps is a combination of development and operations, a software development method that stresses communication and collaboration and integration between software development and information technology professionals. DevOps integration targets product delivery, quality testing, feature development, and maintenance releases in order to improve reliability and security in fast deployments and deployment life cycles. So everything is nothing but it is defines the DevOps. That you might have a different statement of DevOps. So DevOps is nothing but is mainly a collaboration of development and operations. Let me go to the next slide. So I just explained some 3 to 4 statements of what DevOps is. The adoption of DevOps is being driven by factors such as use of Agile and other development processes and methodologies. Agile method drives the adoption of DevOps. It is just a picture you can see here. DevOps and testers, they work together, plus IT operation is nothing but your DevOps. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, so why DevOps can be what we just understood in our initial period, traditionals and agile differences. So to implement the agile methodology, DevOps came into picture. DevOps is in any tool which we integrate and collaborate and communicate can be treated as a DevOps method, the DevOps pipeline or DevOps methodology. So we have delivery challenges. It actually have, you can see in the picture, we have customers, requirement gathering phases, we have development test teams, and there will be a gap between operation teams and business services. Initially what happens is, if the development team start working on the end to end development and customer will test it at the end, it you might face some issues in the middle where development thinks that the developer and tester will not identify and customer will identify while testing it, while doing the functional test. So in that phase, customer identifies that, yeah, I was expecting this and it was delivered like this. So again the developer will take the code and customize the requirement depending on the customer expectation. So that way also it again get delays. So there is a gap between, always a gap between operations and development, where operations team will always expect that so what you see in this slide is there is a gap. So what gap? We have two views, development views and the operation views. So mostly development team will tell that their code is doesn't have any issues. Operation team will tell that there is some problem in the code, and because of that there is issues in the application. Development team may not be, development systems sometimes may not be same as the production systems. So developer will have faster turnaround time with respect to features. Not much concerns. Development team does not have much concern about the infrastructure, because they think that the environment is being supported by the operation teams, and they are not bothered about what issues happen due to the OS infrastructures and all. So they are only concerned about their code. So what happens on the other side, operation team, is they are only worried about making the system 24/7 available. They're not much concerned about the development testing issues. Once the issue comes, they will directly route that incident or whatever ticket has been raised to the development team to work around. To work on that issues. So to to overcome this gap, we have development and operations, that is called DevOps. So developer works with operations to understand the impact of code change. Developers now work more closely with production equivalent systems. Ops operations now have more clarity on infrastructure needs, more automations on deployments, closely monitors the dev, test, and prod pipelines for each deployments with immediate feedback, better collaboration and communication. These features are mainly nothing but the continuous integration and continuous delivery. So whenever there is a issue, we don't have to wait for somebody to roll back the change. DevOps tools like we can have Jenkins, which is a CI/CD tool, will do the job for us. So this slide will tell you about the addressing delivery challenges. So here what you see in the second picture is customer requirements, dev and test teams, and there is a gap which we showcase as a test, DevOps and deploy. So what happens once your requirement gathering and the development or designing is done, the next phase is the deployment where the actual issues and the the work is been done in the application server or your web servers and all. So this circle of test deploy will happen in your continuous integration and continuous deployment, and the end business will be testing the features, and if they don't like, if they don't come up to their expectation, we have to roll back the change. So everything will be done through DevOps. So we have all the tools which needs to integrate with the CI/CD that we will be learning here with Jenkins. And let me go to the next slide. Okay, here. So we see here Agile and DevOps. So Agile development addresses the gap between customer requirement and developer plus testing team. Cross-functional teams to design, develop, and test features. Stories prioritized by the PO. That PO is nothing but your customers. Focuses more on functional and non-functional readiness. So Agile is nothing but a process or a methodology which we need to follow. So that requirement is being accomplished using the DevOps methodology. So DevOps addresses the gap between the dev plus testing and operation. Automated release management focuses on functional and non-functional plus operational and business readiness. Intensifies reusability and automations. So here DevOps what it does is will integrate all those tools which development team uses, which operation teams uses, which admin team uses and all. So everything will be integrated using the CI/CD tool, that is Jenkins. So it does not depend on some other teams, their availability to do the activity. So DevOps integration will do everything. We can schedule a job which will run, and everything will be written in the pipeline job. So if depending on the instructions, it will execute the requirement or execute your commands. So here what happens is, what exactly we are going to teach in DevOps in KT skills. I will teach you about Linux fundamentals, Git, GitHub, Maven, SonarQube, SonarType Nexus, Apache HTTPD, that is nothing but a web server, Apache Tomcat, that is your application server, Jenkins, that is CI/CD. We will teach you Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, AWS Cloud. Docker, Kubernetes, I will teach you about the basic, and I will give you a platform where you can understand your intermediate level of knowledge. And here this whole course designed in such a way that you will not feel like a newbie. It is not a beginner. You will not feel like a beginner in your IT industry. If the person who is new to the environment and you are new to the IT industry, they might feel that how to log into the server, how to execute a command, what is Git, what is GitHub, why Maven is used. Some development team will come into picture and they say how to do the deployment. So they have the development knowledge, they have the exposure to GitHub, they have the exposure to Maven. They might not be knowing about what is SonarQube. They might not be knowing about the Nexus, because Nexus is Artifactory where your build file are stored. Here mainly by jar file, var file, er file. The GitHub is mainly used as a source repository where your development team will have the full access to that repository in GitHub or GitLab. We have many source code version controlling systems, so this GitHub will manage your versioning also. For example, if a developer publishes one code, it went to a deployment, and there is a bug which has been identified, and customer or the testing team, they say there is a bug, you have to fix it. Next they will release a second version, so all the versioning part will be handled by the GitHub. I will show you one document where I have prepared a table of content what all we will be teaching you. So what happens in this is, DevOps overview is nothing but is all the theoretical informations. Linux will teach you in such a way that you will not feel like a newbie. We can will have a hands-on training on the Linux. I'll give you all the commands, whatever is been utilized. Will tell you what the utilities like em utility, archive, how to archive a file, how to schedule a job, how to find grep commands, how to use a find grep commands, changing file permissions, how to handle file and directories. So you will not feel like a newbie. Then comes our network addressing. So you will have you might not some people might not be able to understand what is IP version 4, IP version 6 concepts. So we'll explain you about public, private IPs, TCP, UDP concepts, and mainly we have class A, B, C, CIDR networks which we'll be using in our AWS classes. So next we'll teach about the AWS, that is a cloud environment. So uh, as you know, the cloud is totally boom in market. We have developed DevOps boom in market, and same as AWS, Azure, IBM Cloud, Oracle. So in the market we have AWS has the most, um, is has a high number of shares in the market. So you will have exposure to your cloud, will have the exposure to the DevOps tools which are highly used outside. So I will teach you about the cloud, VPC, your that is the network, that is elastic compute cloud, that is your server, EBS, that is the storage, EFS, that is a file storage, that is a load elastic load balancer is your load balancer which will route a request public URLs which will be routed to your backend servers. CloudWatch is a monitoring tool. Auto scaling is somewhere like if your server is been highly utilized, you can configure your environment such a way that if your infrastructure resources are utilized up to this, then it will trigger two new servers, one new servers. So it will have a auto scaling like increasing and decreasing feature in your cloud. How to configure that, I will explain you that. So identity manager, I will tell you what the basic of identity and access management, what exactly and where it is being used. That is S3, simple storage services. So here is nothing but it can store large amount of data in your simple storage services, and all the files will be treated as an object. So that how to handle, how to manage S3 we'll explain here. Amazon Glacier is nothing but the same kind of, is a legacy system of storage. And here comes our DevOps first tool, that is Git. We will be teaching you GitHub, how to handle what all tool needs to be installed on your premises, local systems or AWS. Next come the Maven. Maven is a build tool. Once your source code is designed, you will need to embed your source code to a build file, that can be a jar, var or er. So Maven will be used, and Maven is the Maven control file, that is the pom.xml is mainly created by the developers. So admin part will be explaining. This course is mainly meant for the admin activity. So git admin activity will do. Maven we will do the admin activity. Sonar Cube Nexus also will do the admin activity, where your build file which has been designed, developed in a Maven tool, will be stored in your Sonar Nexus artifactory. Sonar Cube is your code analyzer. It will test your code quality, and this is also been mainly managed by the development team. Our part is only to configure the system. Here comes the web servers. Web server is a static, which it will serve your static content. So how to manage your administration part in web server, we will be learning your Apache HTTPD. Then comes the application servers. So this server will have your logic, the ER file or var file which you create using Maven. it will be deployed in your application server, that is Tomcat. DevOps, Jenkins is the one which will do end-to-end activity. Each tool which we just saw previous to this Jenkins will work individually, but the will work individually, but the Jenkins will integrate, all the tools will be integrated to Jenkins, and Jenkins will instruct this tool how to work. It depends on the configurations, how you configure it. So everything, Git, Maven, the Sonar Cube, Sonar Type, everything will integrate using Jenkins, and the end will deploy to the Tomcat. The Tomcat has to be connected to Jenkins. So the deployment will have CI and CD, so continuous integration and continuous deployments. So continuous integration is nothing but your, you will integrate everything to Jenkins, that is continuously integrated. Once the source code is been pushed to your GitHub, it automatically triggers a job. It will do your deployment depending on the integration part. Continuous deployment, it happens. Continuous delivery is, some of the companies will not in favor of continuous deployment. They might, mainly in the production environment, they might think that if something goes wrong, then production impact will be high. So they always do the DevOps activity till your build stage, and once your var of ER file is built, they will do your manual deployment. That is called as continuous delivery. So we'll learn about how to install Jenkins, how to install your DevOps tool like Git, Maven, Sonar Cube, Sonar Nexus, Tomcat integrations and all. We learn about Jenkins master configuration, Jenkins backups, Jenkins pipelines, how to write small Jenkins pipelines. Here comes Docker. Docker is very highly, I mean, it is very in a very, Docker is, I mean, highlighted in market. So there is a containerization tool, how to manage containers, how to create image, how to deploy your var file, ER file using Docker, Tomcat. So all the features of Docker we'll be learning here. This course is mainly built for a guy not feel as a beginner after the completion of the course. So they will definitely support the environment individually. They do not need any uh, I mean support from anybody, but we will be here to help you to understand the end-to-end activity about the Docker. The basic fundamentals will definitely will be sharing here. And here you see Docker volumes, Docker network, Docker compose, Docker swarm, and on top of it we'll also teach you about Kubernetes. I haven't added here to Kubernetes topic here, I will be adding here. So Kubernetes also we will teach you. So Kubernetes is owned by a Google product. It is open source, we can use it, and it also has a SaaS solution in cloud. AWS has EKS, we have Google Kubernetes, that is also a SaaS. We'll have Azure Kubernetes, that has been owned by Microsoft. So there are different vendors, they have used the Kubernetes source code and designed their own product. They treat that as SaaS. So we'll learn about the Ansibles. You see the last topic which is here is Ansible. Ansible is a configuration manager. It is nothing but it's kind of automations, so which will be integrated with Jenkins, and it can also do the deployment activity, creation of servers in on-premises and in cloud. So these are the things which we will be learning in our DevOps course, which will be provided by the KT Skills. Let's go to the next slide and see what is there. Yeah, prerequisite required to pursue DevOps courses. You just need a laptop and internet connectivity, and we will tell you how to create an account in AWS cloud, and all the things are practical based. You do not have to sit idle and just see the sessions. You have to do the practical. All the assignments will be there. So it's a practical based session. Level of confidence, so you will definitely feel like you are not a beginner, you will definitely feel like intermediate, you know everything. And the first step is you have to understand the basic understanding about the tool, then you can arams get, I mean, everything in your Google, and you can just give the error, it will give you the output. All the things will teach you here, and nothing at the last. I mean, thank you. This is our contact. If you feel that this course will be good for you, you can contact to these two numbers, and we'll be happy to help you. Looking forward to see you. Thank you.